continuing today with our class Shabbos Home, and we're on chapter number 20, and our big topic is sifting, right? And last time we were discussing, very interesting, long discussion, extensive discussion about straining liquids, and we were talking about three kind of situation. So first, just quickly remind us. First situation when liquid is almost entirely pure, right? Then we can use filters. So like second is moderately pure. So we said depends on whom, right? For some people allowed, for some people not allowed, and right. And third category like when liquids are impure. In this case, you were not allowed to use the filters. Okay, so we continue with section number 5. Permissible acts of straining. Okay. A. Straining large item from liquid. The Melachah of sifting does not apply to large solid objects that are mixed into liquid, because the subjects are clearly visible and distinct in the water. They are not halakhically regarded as mixed with water, because there is no mixture. There can be no prohibition of sifting. Okay. Therefore, one is permitted to pour a drink containing slices of melon from the pitcher, whose spout prevents the lemon slices from escaping. Okay. So let's see again. It's actually the same concept we discussed in our class Shabbos kitchen, right? When we discuss borer, like separating, and we said that this melachah applies only to mixtures, and we spent some time discussing defining what the mixture is. So, and one of the examples we said that when it's not a mixture, like a liquid. And something like large pieces. So if it's liquid in the small pieces, meaning that you're going to eat like a soup, right? You have soup and there are a lot of vegetables, like chopped vegetables. So if you with each spoonful you would have liquid and broth and vegetables. So it is a mixture. But if it's like large pieces, like a piece of chicken, there is no mixture. Chicken is chicken, and vegetables are vegetables, and liquid is liquid. Okay, so exactly the same concept. So in this case, if you need to remove this piece of chicken from the soup, there is no problem. Or strain the broth, also there is no problem. Not saying like pour out, like pour just broth. You want to just drink the broth itself. By the way, on this broth we say borei prichot dema from vegetable soup. So that's one of our students said he was very surprised when he learned from our class, and then he was asked this question in the Beis Din, right? When he was one of the interviews, first I don't know, one of the interviews, and they admire that he's such a knowledgeable person, and this rabbi said, I don't expect you to know, and he asked 3 questions, and three questions, harder question, even though we cover in the class, but unless you would go over a few times, you would not know. And one of them was what bracha you say on the broth from vegetable soup. Okay, very interesting. And he knew because I spent some time discussing. Very interesting. All right, so let's continue. So straining a large item from a liquid. The Melachah of sifting does not apply to large solid objects that are mixed into the liquid. So they say mix into the liquid, but it's not mixture. Just so we know. Because the object is clearly visible and distinct in the water, right? They are not halachically regarded as mixture, right? It's a mix with water, because there is no mixture, right? There is no concept of mixture, so there is no problem with borer, right? With selecting, and there is no problem with sifting in our case. Okay. Therefore, one is permitted to pour a drink containing slices of lemon from the pitcher whose spout prevent the lemon slices from escaping. The question is a good question. If you have a lemon, is understandable, right? It's not part of the water. But what if you have ice, right? So how you added ice to this pitcher? So ice, it's not so simple. According to some opinions, the ice is water, right? That's why you're allowed to dissolve the ice. For example, you have coffee and you want to add the ice cubes. There is no problem on Shabbos. I'm talking about Shabbos, right? There is no problem because you add the water, right? So of course, if it's in a tertiary vessel, like a second cup, right. In the second cup, there is no problem. Okay. So same as lemon, no problem. Okay. Continue. B. Straining two waste items. Straining two waste items. The prohibition of sifting does not apply when both elements are discarded. For example, one may pour a mixture of solid and liquid down the drain, even though the solids will be caught in a strainer in a drain. Since everything is being discarded anyway, it is not considered act of selection. I think we had this question in this class. I think maybe I'm mistaken, like some time ago, right? If a strainer is an issue. I mean, like if you think like a sink strainer, right? So if you think about like regular strainer that we use to clean vegetables or something, it is a problem. But strainer, like in a sink, there is no problem. There is no problem. Why? Because you don't care about either of them, right? When we try to wash vegetables, for example, we want all of the bad stuff like dust and like dirt go down the drain, right? And you want to only have your cherries or whatever you're washing, right? Or grapes, right? But in this case, you don't want water and you don't want the solid stuff. Okay, so then that's not a problem. Okay. B will not consider act of selection. All right, so let me just quickly read it so we don't miss anything. For example, one may pour a mixture, solid and liquids down the drain, even though the solids will be caught by the drain, by the strainer of the drain. Since everything is being discarded anyway, this is not considered act of selection. Okay, so that should be very clear. All right, so next section, number 6, practical applications. So it's usually the last section. Okay. A. Sifting sugar, salt, and flour. I'm not sure about flour. Flour is a muktzah. One is forbidden to sift salt, flour, or confectionery sugar on Shabbos in order to remove clumps. A similar one is forbidden to sift matzah meal in order to remove pieces of matzah. See page 311. Okay, so let's try to understand. So from the beginning, sifting sugar, salt, and flour. I'm not sure why he's saying flour. Flour would be muktzah, right? It's not edible, right? So you need to cook it, and there is no, and we're not allowed to cook. Okay, but let's concentrate on salt and sugar. Okay, it is forbidden to sift the salt and flour and confectionery sugar. So confectionery, it's like a powder, sugar powder. Okay, on Shabbos in order to remove clumps. I'm not sure why. Maybe they want to put the salt in the salt shaker. The way I understand, so they do not want to have clumps in there. Okay, maybe like that. Okay, a similar one is forbidden. So meaning this salt is mixed with clumps and it's considered to be mixture. So you cannot strain meaning the salt like is going to fall through, and these clumps are going to stay on top. That's the thing. Okay. Similarly, one is forbidden to sift matzah meal in order to remove pieces of matzah. I mean, you can remove it with hands, I think. Okay, but we got the point. So matzah meal like matzah particles. The way I understand that what he's talking about when it was broken like by itself. If you break everything in a box, right? In the box, so there is crumbs, a lot of crumbs on the bottom. So and sometimes it's a crumbs. Crumbs is called matzah meal, and there are sometimes like pieces that are a little bigger. I'm not sure how they're going to use this matzah meal on Shabbos, but that's a different story. But we got the point. So not allowed to strain. Next one, tea and coffee. According to some authorities, the tea kettle and coffee pot with a strainer in the spout is considered to be a utensil specifically made for straining, 100%. Therefore, if the pot contains tea leaves or coffee grounds, the law is as follows. If the leaves of the grounds have settled on the bottom of the pot, they are not considered to be mixed with a clear liquid on top. Therefore, one may pour out the liquid until the level is close to the level of the grounds. Beyond this point, one may not continue pouring. Since the liquid on the bottom of the pot is mixed with the leaves and grounds, right? Pouring the liquid can constitute the act of straining with a specially made utensil. This is forbidden. If leaves and grounds are completely mixed with the liquid, one may not pour out the liquid at all, for it is forbidden to use specifically made utensil to filter the mixture. However, other authorities maintain that tea kettle or a coffee pot is not halachically regarded as utensil specifically made for straining. Therefore, even if the liquid is completely mixed with the tea leaves or coffee grounds, one is permitted to use the pot to strain on Shabbos, provided that one intends to use the liquid immediately. It's the best possible to follow the stringent view in this case. Okay, so let's work on this case because I'm not sure how practical is it in our day and age. But let's see. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to tell you what we do in our house and what we advise others, and to avoid all of these things. Right, altogether. Right, and it's less mess as well, of course. Right, less mess, less cleaning. Right, happy family. So again, subsection B, tea and coffee. According to some authorities, the tea kettle and coffee pot with a strainer in a spout is considered a utensil specifically made for straining. So if you open the lid and you see inside where the spout is, sometimes, and we had this teapot long time ago, for sure. We had a long time, even like several of them over the years. So you have like a small openings, right? So maybe we had it once, but then we decided it's impossible to clean nicely. So if you have like open spout, so you have a brush and you can clean, no problem. But with this small openings, it is a problem to clean, right? So what he's saying, right? If you have this loose leaves, right? So you can buy tea. I think it's much healthier. This like you know exactly what you're buying. When you buy this pack. Tea bags, like it's some powder. I don't know what is it. What is in there? I mean, it looks like a tea leaves or some herbs, but you don't know. But when you buy tea leaves, First of all, it's 10 times cheaper, and you can see the natural, and it smells beautifully, right? So what we have, what we do, we put there's this like a balls, right? From a metal mesh, right? You put there what is it, dry leaves. You close it. There is a lock, and you put it in a teapot. That's it. Messless. There is no mess whatsoever, and there is no problem. You avoid all this problem. Because why? Because you did everything before that time. No problem whatsoever. And with coffee, also, I mean, I understand some people like this real coffee, but I mean, on Shabbos you can do something different, and drink instant coffee. You see, with instant coffee, it's less issues, because you just keep the water hot, right? And this water you can use for whatever you want, and instant coffee. That's it. So like there is no question whatsoever. But some people they want to use this coffee, right? All right. So meaning the beans that you milled. Okay. So from the beginning, and we try to explain. According to some authorities, the tea kettle and the coffee pot with a strainer. So the strainer looks holes inside on the spout, right? To be a utensil specifically made for straining. I understand what they're saying. If you think about it, you can see both sides. So it has small holes to allow only liquid through, and it would hold back these coffee grounds and tea leaves. Not everything. Like some small particles still going to go through. The big one would be held behind. Okay. So that's why they say it's a utensil specifically made for straining. Okay. Therefore, if pot contains the tea leaves or coffee grounds, the law is as follows. Right? The law is as follows. So, okay. If the leaves and grounds settle on the bottom of the pot, so usually a good idea not to shake it. Not to shake. So, meaning that there is no problem, at least until some point on the pot. They are not considered to be mixed, right? And they are clear, and the clear with a clear liquid on top. So if all of these leaves on the bottom, there is no problem. Therefore, one may pour out the liquid until the level is close to the leaves on leaves or grounds. Meaning, why? Because the leaves do it nicely, slowly. So these leaves are going to be undisturbed and stay on the bottom. I think from my experience, you can pour like a majority of the liquid. Whatever is going to left, it's like a small amount. That is for sure is mixed, but otherwise you can pour out. Okay, but don't just do it gently. Okay, slowly. Continue pouring. Okay. Beyond this point, one may not continue pouring. Why? Because now it's going to the liquid is going to go with the leaves. Okay. Since the liquid at the bottom on the pot mixed with the leaves and the grounds, right? Pouring out the liquid constitute an act of straining with a specially made utensil, and it is forbidden. So meaning these holes, in a spout is going to hold back these leaves. Okay. So, but again, if you do what I say, like you buy these bowls, like I don't know, whatever they call tea bowls, right? That's the best solution, easiest solution, messless, right? You just throw the leaves in the garbage, and that's it. Rinse it 3 seconds and you're good. Continue. If the leaves or grounds are completely mixed with liquids, so meaning why would be completely mixed? I'm not sure. Maybe they put too much leaves. Possible, right? So if it's mixed, right, one may not pour any liquid at all. For it is forbidden to use specifically made utensil to filter a mixture. So meaning in this case, I would suggest to approach just let it stand, right, for some time, and right, the leaves are going, since they're heavier than water, they're going to go to the bottom. Okay, and then you would be able, right. So if somebody shook the pot, that's it. All of the leaves would go up. Continue. However, other authorities maintain that tea kettle and coffee pot is not halakhically regarded as a utensil specifically made for straining. So if you look at this point, I mean, for me, it makes also perfect sense, right? This tea kettle is not for separating leaves from what is it? From water. You can do tea with tea bags. Like for example, you have teapot and you put there 3, 4, 5, whatever it can hold tea bags, right? And make tea like that. There is no problem, right? So it's not specifically like made utensil for that. Okay. Therefore, even if the liquid is completely mixed with the tea leaves or coffee grounds, one is permitted to use the pot to strain it on Shabbos, provided that one intends to use the liquid immediately, right? So that's a very important condition. And plus, the way I understand, like from these holes, I mean, from my experience, some leaves are still going to go through. Smaller one is going to go through. Not all of them, but some, and still coffee grounds. It is best, if possible, to follow the stringent view in this case, right? So I mean, as we said, it's very straightforward. With coffee also, I think it's even easier to keep it hot. Like if you just keep the water hot. But some people they have this coffee pot on a blech the whole Shabbos. We never done it. Is it good or it's going to lose flavor? I'm not sure. In my mind, it's going to lose flavor. I never done it, but theoretically. So, but if you use instant coffee, should be good. Okay. So next one, pulps in the orange juice. Okay, and it says since pulps is a natural component of orange juice, the pulp and the juice are not regarded as separate elements in the mixture. Therefore, one is permitted to skim pulps from the juice with a strainer on Shabbos. Okay. However, for a person who is too sensitive to drink anything but a clear juice, the pulps are regarded as waste. Therefore, this person may not remove pulps on Shabbos. Okay, so let's see. So let's see from the beginning. Juice or orange juice with pulps, right? I mean, without pulps, in my mind, it's like water, like. Right, but okay, but some people like clear juice without pulps, no problem. Okay, so since this pulp's natural component, it's not considered to be mixed. So if a person does not usually drinks all together, but today wants something different, right? So they can skim this the pulps from the top. He said. Therefore, it's permitted to skim the pulp from the juice with a strainer on Shabbos. We need to look into it. Strainer is going to be like a strainer, especially specifically made for separating. But he said it's allowed. Okay, then it's allowed. No problem. So in this case, it's not a muktzah. Strainer in this case, not muktzah. However, a person who is too sensitive to drink anything but clear juice, the pulp is regarded as waste. So meaning person, as we said before, filters and water, for him, for her, that's impure. It's like something, I don't know. Like some people, they would faint if they see cooked onion. Right, fried onion, fresh onion, they're going to eat, no problem. But if they see the cooked onion, like pieces of onion in the soup, they can faint. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, so for a person like this pulp is 100% waste. It's not allowed to separate. Continue. D. Removing pulp so that the juice will flow freely. One is permitted to strain pulp from juice in order to allow the juice to flow freely. For example, through the nipple of the baby's bottle. Right? That's an amazing example. The reason is as follows. He removes the pulp not because it is inherently undesirable or because he finds it distasteful, but simply to keep it from the blocking the free flow of the liquid. Okay. Of the liquid. Therefore, there is nothing undesirable about the pulp. It is not regarded as being separate from the liquid. Therefore, its removal from the liquid is not halachically speaking act of straining. Even it is straining, but it's not. So as we see it, a lot of depends on our mindset, like how do we perceive things, like what is our intention, right? So from one intention, if for that person is this pulps absolutely not acceptable, it would be forbidden to strain. And in this case, it's not like it's unacceptable, but we want this juice to flow freely, right? For a baby. So would baby eat the pulps? Maybe, right? There's not like a baby would eat the orange itself if you clean it, right? For sure. Right, so there is no problem with the pulps. The problem is that we wanted to give a baby as a drink, okay, not as a food. Okay, so let's quickly read and we see if we can pick up new information. One is permitted to strain pulps from the juice in order to allow juice to flow freely. For example, through the nipple of the baby bottle. So if somebody wants to drink this orange juice with a straw, there is no problem. This piece is too small to clog the straw. That would be no problem, right? But for a baby bottle, yes, for sure, right? Because we don't want a baby to choke. So that's the thing. The reason is as follows: if he removes the pulp, not because it's inherently undesirable or because he finds distasteful, so it's not like a baby eats orange, there is no problem. Maybe he loves orange, right? But simply to keep it from blocking the free flow of liquid, right? Free from blocking free flow of liquid. That's it. Okay, because there is nothing undesirable about the pulp. So meaning, right? For us, it's not a mixture. So mixture when you want one element and do not want another element, right? It is not regarded as being separate from liquid. So meaning it's one and the same, and in the same you just improve a little for some other purposes. Therefore, its removal from the liquid is not halachically considered act of straining. Okay, next one. Is straining water from the food item. Okay. It is forbidden to use strainer, colander, or a spotted spoon to separate liquid from the item of food. Liquid, for example, noodle, rice, coleslaw, etc. Again, I'm not sure why these noodles were in the liquid. I'm not sure. So again, it is forbidden to use strainer, colander, or a spotted spoon to separate liquid from the items of food. So meaning you cannot strain from that, but you can take food from the liquid. Meaning if you have, I'm not sure where you have liquid with no noodles, for example, but you can remove these noodles from the liquid. So maybe noodles in a soup or something, maybe rice. Okay, coleslaw, etc. Okay, we got it. Okay, so next one is F, straining seeds, pits. It is forbidden to use strainer on Shabbos to filter drinks that contain pits, seeds, peels, and other such impurities. So because I don't think anybody would like these things, right? So meaning it's a waste, according I think to all of the opinions, containing pits, seeds, and peels, right? That's why you cannot strain them. Okay, no problem. So next one is G, straining liquids to remove large fruits. Okay. If liquid contain a few large pieces of fruit, the pieces are clearly visible and distinct and are not halachically considered to be mixed with liquid. Okay, because there is no mixture, one is permitted to pour the liquid from the pitcher, whose spout prevents the fruits from escaping. Right. And even the use of the sieve or strainer to remove the fruits from the liquid. Okay. So let's read again. So meaning you have some people do like homemade I don't know what is it called, like preserve or something, like fruits, they cook fruits and like with a syrup and stuff like that, and then they drink. They mix with water, I think, because it's too sweet. Because you need to add a lot of sugar for preservation, stuff like that. Okay. So meaning, but fruits are big. Like sometimes you have, I saw in the supermarket like what is it called? Like half peaches, right? Like huge pieces of fruit, right? Of course, you eat peaches separately and this thing liquid separately. Okay, so meaning for sure they're not mixed. How like huge pieces? Okay, so again, if liquid contains few large pieces of fruit, the pieces are clearly visible, right, and distinct, and are not likely considered to be mixed with the liquid, right? So for sure, because there are no mixture, one is permitted to pour liquid from the pitcher, whose spout prevents the fruits from escaping, right? And even use sieve and strainer to remove the fruits from the liquid. So from here we see that the sieve and strainer are not muktzah, right? He repeated many times they're not muktzah. So because there are permissible ways how we can use it. Okay. All right. So again, you can separate this liquid from fruits. Okay, no problem. Continue. H. Water filter and on faucet. Water filter on faucet. One is permitted to use a water filter attached to the faucet on the sink, since most people will drink unfiltered tap water, despite the small impurities it contains. The Melachah of sifting does not apply. However, a person who is sensitive to even these minor impurities and does not drink tap water without filtering it may not use the filter on Shabbos. For him, the its use constitute forbidden act of sifting. Okay, so let's try to understand. So I think here we're talking about first category. When we're talking about water filters, we said three categories. One is basically pure, that's what he's talking about, then some impurities, and then undrinkable. Okay, but here I think he's talking about the first category. So again, one is permitted to use a water filter attached to the faucet or on a sink. So meaning it's not removed. I mean, of course you can remove it, you can unscrew it, I think, but it would be a problem, right? Or what is the problem? The problem is building, right? We have not building, demolition. We have one Melachah that you cannot build on Shabbos. It's different Melachah, and one is demolished. So meaning that this faucet is connected to the house, which is, I mean, to the pipes, right, that connected to the ground, and this filter is connected to the faucet, meaning it's also connected to the ground. So like from with us removing the filter is going to be like a demolition. Okay. Since most people will drink unfiltered tap water, despite small impurities it contains. So I mean, if we have to verify if a place where we live, as we spoke last time, the water is acceptable, majority of the people would drink not filtered. Right? The Melachah of sifting does not apply. Okay. However, a person who is sensitive to even these minor impurities, so like some people have like very sensitive, have this imagination, they see this particle jumping up and down their cup, like in their glass. So that's for these people who do be absolutely forbidden to use this tap water, right? And just to remember to remind ourselves that they cannot use the filter, and we cannot use filter for them, even though it is allowed for us, but we cannot use it for them because right, for them it is not allowed. Okay, so continue. So next one. So he said that's a strainer in a sink drain. So we explained, right? There is no problem because you actually pour out everything there. So good and bad. So meaning liquids with solid. So next one, J. Removing contact lenses from solution. Contact lenses are often stored in a perforated holder, right? That rests in receptacle contain a clean solution. One may remove the lenses and the holder from solution on Shabbos, even though it causes the liquid to be strained through the perforated holder, because it's not like the way I understand why is it allowed. So I have people who uses contact lenses, right? I mean, I never even tried once. Like I saw somebody put the contact lenses in their eyes. It was enough for me. It was many years ago. I said never. I don't want to like stick the fingers into my eyes. And then people like I remember in my office, like some people try to use this contact lenses. Always have irritation from time to time. And plus it costs a lot of money. Just buy yourself glasses and then that's it, right? why do you need like it's dangerous? You can put in infection. Maybe it's in solution. You change the solution. Did not change solution. Maybe your fingers are clean, not so clean. Maybe you wash it. Maybe you forgot to wash. Like all of these things. Like it's dangerous. But anyway, it is allowed to remove it from solution and put it in a person's eyes. Okay, no problem. No problem with straining. Again, because it's not like we need liquid, do not liquid. It's not about liquid. It's about storing of these lenses. Next one, last one, sifting sand. If the article was lost in a sand, it is forbidden under a rabbinic law to sift the sand on Shabbos in order to retrieve the lost article. So, and it's understandable because it looks like a person is sifting. Okay, so let's stop here. I'm going to take a break. And our next topic, the Melachah involves preparing wool. And it's actually, 13 Melachas. So besides the laundry and some, dyeing, actually some of them actually practical, right? Tying, untying, I don't know. So half of them applying to us, and half of them I would say do not apply to us because it's like from olden days. All right. So let's take 5 minutes break and we continue with the other topic, and we have a story tonight. 5 minutes.